Hi, my name is Vincent. I am a retired cleaner, been employed by Clean Focus on a low or shore. Retiring is my time because I want to have a good time now. I grew up in the south of France, southeastern France, with my family in a very small village, 25 kilometers from the Nice. And life was not very good because I come from a large family with no money. So, like many other children in that village, I have known, unfortunately, hunger. There was no food on the table for all of 8 of us. I skipped school, because my parents didn't really force me or encourage me to go to school, but I did manage to get my school certificate. And then I escaped the village to move to a little town near the waterfront of the south of France, where I went for an apprenticeship as a butcher. I left that job after a while and I went to another position. And unfortunately, I had a motorbike accident where I was not allowed to work for another 6 months. So I met my replacement and we became friends. He and his girlfriend decided that perhaps we should go and travel the world. And I said, how about if I join you? And the next thing, we are moving to Australia. Well, moving to Australia at the tender age of 22, coming from a very small village, was an enormous shock. First of all, I didn't know where Australia was. The only thing I knew about Australia was that we had learned at school that the capital was Canberra, and we had a French singer there who had a song called Kangaroo. So they were the only 2 things I knew about Australia. I spoke no English when I came to Australia. Well, it was an enormous culture shock for me. I didn't even know that we had 2 seasons on the planet. So after leaving the south of France and going to London en route for Australia, I ended up in Melbourne where it was 40 degrees in early December. So that was like, oh my God. And I wanted to go back because I was totally lost. And I ended up, because as a single man, I ended up in a hostel for single men. And the couple I came to Australia went to an hostel where 4 couples. And I didn't know how to get in touch with them because I couldn't speak English. But eventually I found someone who helped me out and we were more or less reunited. And that was the beginning of my life in Australia under an incredible hot weather. Well, my first job in Australia, it's a job that was offered to me by the government. And I was working at night at a Holden plant in Melbourne, something to do with car engine. I didn't have a clue at what a car engine was. I am still not interested in car engine, but it was a job and it paid whatever it paid. It taught me that I was able to do what I was offered to do. And I had no choice but to do it in order to survive and continue. So after Melbourne, I ended up in Whyalla, where I had a labor job. There were no opportunity to spend much money, so I ended up coming to Sydney, joining a friend that I had met there, a French friend. I had a lot of jobs. I did a lot of jobs. And eventually, I became a concierge in a block of apartment where I had nothing to do but stand at the office stand looking good and with a nice jacket and doing nothing. That didn't last very long because I'm not the type of person who stays on a chair all day long waiting for something to happen. Then another position as a concierge was offered to me, which involved some cleaning. So I was a caretaker in a block of apartment, which I held for 10 years. I left this job, had a little holiday, and another position as a caretaker was offered to me. And this is where I met Jordan and Clean Focus Company. And that's how I ended up with Clean Focus.